Think positive. Visualize your success. Affirm your worth. Choose happiness. Manifest your dreams. Good vibes only. We are absolutely drowning in positive thinking advice. It's on your Instagram feed, in your boss's emails, on mugs, on posters, and in best-selling books that have sold tens of millions of copies. And yet, despite all of it, people are not measurably happier, more successful, or more mentally healthy than before positive thinking became a multi-billion-pound industry. So, what's going on? Here's the uncomfortable truth that the positive thinking industry has spent decades carefully avoiding. For a lot of people, in a lot of situations, forced positive thinking doesn't just fail to help, it actively makes things worse. Today, we're going to look at what the actual science says about positive thinking, what works, what doesn't, what's actively harmful, and what to do instead. Because it turns out the answer is more interesting than either the believers or the cynics would have you think. Let's be clear about what we're actually talking about. The positive thinking movement, which really exploded in the 20th century and reached peak absurdity with the publication of The Secret in 2006, makes a specific claim that your thoughts directly shape your reality. That if you think positively, good things will come to you. That if you visualize success vividly enough, the universe will deliver it. The slightly more grounded version, which you'll find in most corporate wellness programs and self-help books, makes a softer claim that thinking positively improves your mood, your performance, your relationships, and your outcomes. That optimism is always better than pessimism. That reframing negative thoughts as positive ones is universally good for you. Both versions have a kernel of truth, and both versions, taken too far or applied incorrectly, cause real damage. Let's look at the evidence. Part 1. The visualization problem. One of the most popular positive thinking exercises is visualization, vividly imagining your desired future. It feels productive. It feels motivating. And research by psychologist Gabriele Oettingen at NYU has studied it extensively. Her findings are striking and deeply inconvenient for the positive thinking industry. Positive visualization, imagining your desired future in vivid, positive detail, consistently predicts lower achievement, not higher. People who spent time imagining how good it would feel to succeed lost energy rather than gained it. They felt less motivated to do the actual work. Their bodies literally showed lower blood pressure, a physiological sign of relaxation, not preparation for effort. Why? Because your brain, given a sufficiently vivid simulation of success, partially registers it as having already happened. Here's where positive thinking gets genuinely harmful. When you're told, or tell yourself, to think positively about something genuinely difficult, what often happens is emotional suppression. You don't process the difficult feeling, you override it. You perform positivity on top of pain. And research on emotional suppression is very clear. Suppressing emotions doesn't make them go away. It amplifies them. A 2011 study by psychologist James Gross found that people who were instructed to suppress their emotional responses showed increased physiological arousal. Their bodies were more stressed, not less, even as their faces showed less emotion. This is the psychology behind what researchers now call toxic positivity, the insistence on maintaining a positive mindset regardless of circumstances. It invalidates genuine experience. It creates shame around negative emotions, and it prevents the emotional processing that's actually necessary for well-being. When someone loses their job, ends a relationship, receives a difficult diagnosis, and is told to stay positive, they don't feel better. They feel alone with their pain, and they feel guilty for feeling it. That's not wellness. That's suppression with a smile on top. Affirmations, positive statements you repeat to yourself to shift your beliefs, are one of the most widely recommended tools in the positive thinking toolkit. And for people with already high self-esteem, they work reasonably well. Saying, "I am capable," when you already broadly believe you're capable reinforces an existing belief. But for people with low self-esteem, the people most likely to be using affirmations, the people who arguably need them most, research by Joanne Wood at the University of Waterloo found they backfire badly. When someone who genuinely doesn't feel worthy or capable tells themselves, "I am worthy and capable," their brain doesn't just accept it, it argues back. It generates counter-evidence. And the internal conflict between the affirmation and the deeply held contrary belief actually makes them feel worse than before they started. The affirmation highlights the gap between where they are and where they want to be. And that gap feels like failure. So does this mean pessimism wins? That negative thinking is better? Not quite. Gabrielle Oettingen, the researcher behind mental contrasting, didn't just show that positive thinking can be oversold. She helped identify what works better. It's called WOOP. WOOP stands for wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. First, name what you want, the wish. Then, imagine the best possible result, the outcome. Yes, you do visualize success, but briefly. Then comes the part most people skip. Identify the obstacle most likely to get in your way. Not a vague fear, a real, specific obstacle. Finally, make a concrete if-then plan. If this happens, then I will do that. That's the difference between fantasy and preparation. Pure positive thinking can feel good in the moment, but if it makes success feel already achieved, it can reduce urgency. Mental contrasting does something different. It connects the future you want with the reality you're in. You're not being negative, you're being honest, and honesty gives your brain something to act on. Here's the reframe. The goal was never positive thinking. The goal was effective thinking. Effective thinking means staying open to change while telling the truth about the difficult parts. It means processing negative emotions instead of performing positivity over them. It means planning for obstacles instead of trying to visualize them away. You don't have to instantly reframe every hard feeling into a lesson. Sometimes the useful move is simpler. Feel it, name it, give it a little space, and then ask, what can I do next? The middle path is not dwelling in negativity, and it's not forcing positivity. It's honest, grounded, action-oriented thinking. Less glamorous than manifesting your dream life, much more useful. So try 3 things. First, replace affirmations with process statements. Instead of, I am confident and successful, try, I am working on becoming more confident, or I am taking steps toward my goals. Your brain can argue with a claim you don't believe. It has a harder time arguing with a true process. Second, allow the negative emotion before reframing. When something hurts, give yourself a defined window to feel it. 10 minutes, an hour. Acknowledge it. Then shift into problem solving. You're not wallowing, you're processing. Third, use WOOP on one real goal. Write the wish. Write the best outcome. Write the most likely obstacle. Then write the plan. If X happens, I will do Y. It's not magic. It's honest preparation. Think clearly. Feel honestly. Plan realistically. Act anyway. That's not pessimism. That's how things actually get done. Positive thinking isn't useless, but it's been wildly oversold, badly misapplied, and used to dismiss and suppress real human experience on a massive scale. You don't need to think positive, you need to think clearly, feel honestly, and act with the full picture in front of you, obstacles and all. That's not a bad day reframed as a good one. That's a real life, honestly lived.